say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Even if never before, Brunonians, pray with me. We, the grateful who shared once a transforming walk through Van Wickle Gate, walked again together that self-same gate, now sending us forth. And we step to this hallowed ground, the very place of our university's forming. So many things, so many different things, and yet all Brunonians. College Hill's pilgrims, we ply the path of the centuries while forging a new first path for many identities just arriving. We fuse tradition, conviction, scholarship, hoping to find in them all a new insight, to form new justice, to envision new inclusion, to embody new humility, accountability, compassion, ever true, and yet needing always to be making space for ever new Brunonians. This beloved class of 2017, bearing to these altars offerings of gratitude, memory, articulate this brown rising generation's holy hope. In gratitude, we remember your beloved family who cannot today join our celebration, separated by distance, illness, and even death. We pause to hold them close in our hearts as they look on with such joy at your achievement. Their dearness, ever bright, as they are just out of view, binds us together, and especially so to two students in our Brown family who graduate with us today, but go before us in death. Arvin Alangavan from this class in the college, and Carlos Bled from the doctoral program in the School of Engineering. Their loss diminishes our joy, and we hold their memory sacred and will keep ever bright their place in our Brunonian circle. Today we clasp dearly the hands of friends that were once strangers. College Hill, once an enigma, now a map we know by heart and can walk in our sleep, and we sometimes did. Early and late in all weather, we safe walked. We completed our bud shifts and Nelson morning workouts. We shuttled from Ship Street to Barris and Holly and back again. We know that Braingate doesn't swing like Van Wickle, and that the tinfoil people aren't scary anymore. Though that enormous blue creature that lights up on Simmons Quad, we're not so sure. We know that Shakespeare in the Rain on the Green is likely. We know that Dave Binder might still be playing on Riston when our children attend Brown. And we know that Mike's first-gen, Sci-Liars alike, master a Brunonian alphabet from RPL to BDH that enables us to chart the unfolding of the DIAP, a concert space that will rise from the dreams and generosities of generations and even the reincarnation of Wilson to Friedman, these bits of narrative, these letters, visa stamps on our Brunonian passport are artifacts of a sojourn that changed everything. The way we talk, the way we think, even our dreams. Keep clear the midnight strains of the Hutchings Voti at Halloween, the coxswain's cry on the sea conch, a cappella arch sings, spoken word, and rhythm of drums. Keep bright the quiet green's blaze of daffodils and dogwoods, Wilson's purple haze of redbuds, the magnificence of the green's magnolias, the inches and miles of Brunonia's halls, these streets, these fields, these books, these labs, these faces, be ever with us. May their clarity never dim, even as it softens. Our commencement today arises amid our nation's Memorial Day. Hear our gratitude for lives given, lives lost in the service of our nation. May our nation's reputation for welcome and inclusion abide and be radiant. May those who show courage, even sacrifice, to protect those whom others seek to trivialize and marginalize, be in fact honored among us as we ever seek peace together and strive to serve the good of our neighbors. May we never take for granted those who provide for our national protection, our national dignity, and who serve with such loyalty and vision. May this rising generation of beloved New Brunonians find life's purpose in their capacity to see and to cherish coexistence and to care for our good earth, building vocations on foundations of justice and kindness. May their blessings abound, and together may we, with them, be a blessing in the life of the world you love this day and always. As we say together, Amen.
By the authority vested in me by the Charter of Brown University and the Board of Fellows of the Corporation, I hereby declare the 249th commencement of Brown University convened. So, welcome to this historic place on this absolutely glorious day. I know that this may seem like one stop in a very long day of marching and celebratory gatherings. But in truth, this is the most important part of the day, because in a few short minutes, I will officially confer your degrees, and you will transfer from being Brown students to being alumni of the great Brown University class of 2017. But before we do that, here it comes, the inevitable request for you to reflect back nearly 4 years to September 2013, when most, not all of you, but most of you, began your Brown journeys. When you arrived on College Hill, we had just kicked off a year-long celebration of the 250th anniversary of Brown's founding. And at convocation, we were talking about history, and I noted that when Rhode Island was established, it was referenced in the Charter of 1663 as a, quote, lively experiment that would welcome people from all religious backgrounds. This was certainly a historical moment of truth. Religious liberty was a stunningly radical idea at the time. Freedom of conscience and nonconformity were out of step with conventional wisdom. And the practice of tolerance in a diversifying society was pretty much untested. This courageous act of conscience, embodied in Rhode Island's founding, created a place of dynamism where people from different backgrounds benefited from their proximity to each other. And it was an early marker of the idea of freedom of conscience as a cornerstone of the liberal values that we uphold today. So, where are we today? We find ourselves at another historical moment of truth, one precipitated by the elephant in the room, or maybe on the green, the November 2016 election. For many of you, this was the first presidential election in which you exercised your right to vote. And it will forever be connected to your memories of your senior year at Brown. The outcome of the election have affected some of you in deeply personal ways, had some serious implications for our university community, and posed some challenges to our lively experiment. Brown's reaction to some of the policies of the new administration have been principled, not partisan. We've looked to our core values to guide our responses. We are concerned deeply for the well-being of our DACA and undocumented students and their families. We have opposed executive orders on immigration that disadvantage students and scholars who are refugees or who come from several Muslim-majority countries. Universities should be open to all. And we are alarmed that scientific research is being devalued in ways that threaten the advancement of knowledge and put at risk American scientific leadership. But more generally, more broadly, the election laid bare deep socioeconomic, political, and cultural divides in this country. And these divides, they're not new. They have been decades, if not centuries, in the making. They stem from increases in political partisanship from the 1980s, if not earlier, increases in income inequality that date back to the mid-1970s, persistent racial and ethnic disparities in opportunity that predate America's founding. And these divides are reverberating around the world. They are threatening democratic institutions, creating anxiety, even despair among those left behind by globalization and rapidly changing technologies. And they're alienating those vulnerable to injustices because of their race or ethnicity, religious beliefs, gender, other identities. And these divides are threatening to undercut our capacity to move forward thoughtfully, openly, deliberately on policy issues that are important to citizens everywhere. Now, this is where it comes to you. I believe that the most consequential thing you can do as new college graduates is, in ways small and ambitious, to bridge these divides. And this takes courage, but it's courage that I know that all of you possess. At this university, we aspire not only to prepare students for successful careers, that's important, yes, but we also want to instill in students the courage to use their educations to have impact in their communities, in their countries, and in the world at large. And I've seen you for the last 4 years. During your time on College Hill, you were courageous. You were confronted with some of the thorniest problems of our times: climate change, gender-based violence, health inequities, racial injustice, religious intolerance. And so many of you acted bravely and conscientiously to address those issues. And it fills me with so much pride to see Brown students respond like this with a fierce determination to do the right thing and to help others. So what I want to leave you with today is a call to live courageously. It's essential now as it was in Roger Williams' time, if only to bridge the divides that separate us. So what does this mean? It means having the courage to be a civically engaged citizen. After graduation, you will land somewhere. You may not even know where yet, to work and study and launch your post-Brown lives. Wherever you land, the first thing you should do is register to vote. volunteer for a local nonprofit, coach youth sports, shoot for the moon, run for elected office. A good example from Brown, New Hampshire Senator Maggie Hassan, class of 1980, who is a courageous leader on many things, but particularly on the national opioid crisis. It means having the courage of your informed convictions, doing things you believe in, even if you encounter criticism or even if you break social norms. So when Janet Yellen, class of 1967, spoke at the 125 Years of Women at Brown conference last month, she recalled early Pembroke graduates who fought for the opportunity to have careers. They knew that they could make contributions in their chosen fields. They knew that their education could matter. So they pushed back against the social mores and the workplace policies that limited their options. And that was courageous. And finally, it means having the courage to be compassionate, to empathize with others, even those whose life experiences are very different from your own. You've heard a lot about this over the last 4 years. It's going to be truer than ever when you leave this place. Another example, Lynn Nottage, class of 1986, two-time Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright. For Lynn, it took audacity to build trust among the out-of-work steelworkers of Reading, Pennsylvania, who, as she said to me, weren't the kind of people who would normally talk to, much less come to trust, a Black woman from New York City. But her empathy enabled her to hear their stories of personal hardship, and they entrusted to her their stories. And she took from that the ability to write a play that could bridge divides and change the narrative of Reading, Pennsylvania. So to close, let me say this. Every historical era can be framed as extraordinary times. I mean, it's trite probably to say this is that. But there is no time like the present. So on this remarkable day, at this moment of truth, take everything that Brown has opened up to you and live courageously. Go out into the world fiercely, boldly, and thoughtfully. Keep this lively experiment burning brightly. And don't ever forget that people here at Brown will love you and honor you for doing just that. So now, I'm going to grant you your degrees. Is that good? Okay. I need you. You have to, and Jerome, come. You're the fellows. Socii honorandi juvenes quod as gradum baccalaureae idoneus comperimus vomis praesentamus, et eus ad hoc gradum promovere liceat rogamus. Honored colleagues, we present these young people whom we have found fit for the bachelor's degree, and we ask that we be permitted to advance them to this degree.
So if we say nothing, nothing happens?
No.
Oh,
We won't say nothing.
Lick it and plaque it.
There you go. No, good, very good. Candidati o gradum baccalaureae auscultabunt. Will the candidates for the bachelor's degree please listen attentively? This is the important part. Auctoritati mihi commissa vos a gradum baccalaureae admitto, omniaqua iura ac privilegia ad hoc gradum pertinentia vobis concito. In huius rei testimonium diplomata vestris conglegis in collegii gramine tradum. Congratulations. You may now move your tassel to the left side of your mortarboard. And I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you back up on the main green for the rest of our ceremony. Congratulations.